Many thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you very much for having me.
Indeed, a great day for Kenya. We are celebrating a new law in the mining sector. I remember seeing you on Budget Day and you looked quite excited. Now that we have this new piece of legislation, what does it mean for the sector?
Exciting times indeed. And in fact, when I was watching you speak earlier on, when you talk about exciting happenings in the business world, I thought that I should be sharing the same for us as well. Excitement, optimism, and a real sense that we are now on a new platform.
Yes.
To take mining to the next level. We are not lost to the significance of this.
Yes.
That is true. The Mining Act 2016 is actually the most progressive mining act in Africa for a number of reasons. The first mining laws in the continent were crafted around the 80s.
Yes.
When structural adjustment program by IMF and World Bank was the order of the day. There were new laws crafted later on, Zambia, Guinea in the 1990s, which essentially now introduced a new dimension. Before it was all about privatization. Later on it's about regulation, but regulation driven by private sector.
Yes.
And government was supposed to basically be out of this.
Yes.
Then came the third generation of mining laws, and DRC, Tanzania, where now it was essentially thought that government has a role to play. But again, the focus there was the focus on royalties and taxes being reduced so that you can increase exports. For the first time ever, this fourth generation law that we have now in Kenya, it looks at so many things. First of all, it aligns to our constitution.
All right.
We didn't have a Kenyan constitution in 1940. This one aligns to the constitution 2010. It also aligns itself to our own vision for developing the country. Our flagship development document is the Vision 2030.
Correct.
Where we need to grow mining now from under 1% GDP to double digit. And create jobs and create wealth, and it speaks to that. It's one of the key economic pillar in the development of our country. And finally, this law, for me, we've been talking so much about inclusion and local content.
That's it.
And for the first time ever, did you know that artisanal miners were actually illegal miners? In the previous law.
All right.
And you do have, in Kenya, millions of Kenyans, either as individuals, as groups, as cooperatives, mothers, youth, who wants to get in the mining game, but they cannot get mainstream there because of the law did not allow. For the first time in this law, it says you as an artisanal miners, the government recognizes you, and we must do what we can to help you to become part of the mining game. I think to me that is very, very, very important.
Quite a significant milestone, I must say.
Yes.
But Waziri, looking at the mining sector, right now Kenya has a number of international companies that are mining in different minerals, titanium, we have gold and other minerals across the country. Perhaps looking at this new piece of legislation, does it also factor in the fact that it will open up more investments into the country? What does it mean for investors?
It is, you spot on, Abby, because, I keep telling people this Mining Act 2016, it gives us a chance as a ministry and as a country to now develop a world-class mining sector that includes different key players in it. Like I say, it's not just about the large-scale miners. They're important. But for me, I'm looking at 7 subsectors.
Yes.
As a ministry. Number one, we talked about the artisanal miners. We must have a place for them. We must help them. We must develop them. We must see what we can, see how they can positively contribute to the economic transformation of the country. And also help themselves. I mean, put food on the table. That's very critical. Number two, small-scale miners. As we speak right now, a bulk of some of the people who contribute to the mining in Kenya are small-scale miners.
Yeah.
They must be, supported. They must be, given the right incentive to develop.
Yeah.
So we're looking how do we develop the small-scale miners as well.
Which some say is quite a huge.
And I'll give an example. For example,
Yeah.
Kilimapesa or Chemase in Nandi County. You
Yeah.
know, they are doing fantastic work, even though they're small, but they're doing good. And by the way, the small-scale mine today will become the large-scale mine tomorrow, which brings me to the third subsector, the large-scale mine that you talked about.
Yeah.
The Bays, the Magadi,
Yeah.
the Portland.
Yeah.
They have a space for it. And by the way, also we are planning now as a ministry, after putting everything together, we want to go all over the world in the bigger mining jurisdictions to start promoting Kenya as an investment destination. And we'll be using this law and other
Yeah.
5 more documents that we're preparing to tell this is how we're ready for you. This is how Kenya is ready for you. So I talked about the artisanal miners, I talked about the small-scale miners, I talked about the large-scale miners, and I want to talk about something that you missed during the budget,
Yeah.
exploration companies.
Yeah.
In Northern Ireland, when they did the airborne survey, which you guys talk so much about when
I remember, yes.
when they did the airborne survey,
Yeah.
mining exploration moved from around 15% to 70%. And the amount of money that was put in the mine in the country, in the mining sector,
Yeah.
moved from around £1 million to over £9 million. Just money for exploration. These guys don't do the actual mining,
Yeah.
but they come do exploration. When they're done,
Yeah.
they say, okay, they probably get into a deal with someone else to continue with the mining. So exploration, there's technology transfer there, there's money into the economy,
Yeah.
and it's a sector that we want to develop. Number 4, precious mineral and gemstones.
Yeah.
And probably this is what Kenyans understand more about mining because they identify themselves more with the gemstones.
Yeah, the gemstones and
the
the rubies.
And the rubies, and
Yeah.
that's the sector we want to develop. Today, a lot of our rubies, I'm sorry, even right this minute,
Yeah.
someone is crossing the border with a region to smuggle to the region.
Yeah.
We need to find a way to see how we can develop our precious and gemstone sector,
Yeah.
so that not only do people, do we develop here, but other people across the region actually bring their rubies and gemstones and precious minerals into the country.
Yeah.
So that's a sector that we need to develop. Number 5 sector, services, mining services. Abi, you don't need to go dig in the villages to qualify to be in the mining game.
Yeah.
You could be the person here offering financial services.
That's it.
For structured financial packages for artisanal miners, small-scale miners, for large-scale miners.
Yeah.
That's why I'm looking at this sector end to end. You could be the person offering training consultancy services.
Yeah.
Giving certification for the mining, people involved in the actual mining, so that they know the best way to do mining.
Okay.
So training consultants is very critical. And Kenya, by the way, talking about training, the policy gives us, the mining policy gives us leeway to develop the National Mining Corporation.
Oh, yes.
So the National Institute of Mining, National Institute of Mining, which is basically, we develop a training program,
Yeah.
our training infrastructure for mine engineers,
Yeah.
environmental engineers, geologists. We start building our own capacity for the sector. And as a country as well, we have applied to be the host here for what the Africa Union Agency called the African Mineral Development Center, which will be training policymakers of mining across the continent. We want that here in Nairobi, so that we develop capacity on that. So you can be the person in mining, but not necessarily digging, but offering training. You could be the person doing, and I can see the equipment, you could be the person either leasing equipment or supplying equipment. So
it's an entire economy on itself.
On its own.
Yeah.
You could be the person doing security.
Yeah.
Mining happens in some of the remotest parts of the country.
That's true.
And you probably need you will need security. You will need logistics. You will need insurance. So you can be in this mining game like that. Finally, we are really keen to make Kenya the regional mining hub in Africa. and to leverage on our advantage, on our positioning, on so many things that's going on for us.
Okay.
If we get it right here, like I said, we want to be able to attract, other parts of the country, legally bringing their minerals here. We do value addition, and then we create jobs and wealth for Kenyans. That's the way we see this sector. And so, yes, we'll have time for the artisanal miners.
Okay.
We'll have time for small-scale miners and the large-scale miner as well. And we'll be going all over the world maybe from next month, we'll be going to all the big juices to sell Kenya as the next frontier for mining.
Okay.
And of course, we want to pay attention to exploration, to precious mineral, to services, and building this Kenya as a mineral hub.
Interesting. Wow. Quite a lot happening in the mining sector, Waziri.
Thank you.
Of course, many are saying you are the man who has managed to deliver this new piece of legislation 3 years into Jubilee government, and it's this year actually that we are seeing the law coming to pass. We've been speaking there to Cabinet Secretary in charge of mining. Dan
First of
Kazungu.
all, on the first of May,
Yeah.
we managed to deliver the first mining policy, the mining policy for 2016. For the first time, we have a policy that now directs and gives us an opportunity to reorganize the sector, to build institutions, to bring in predictability and transparency. And that was approved by Cabinet on the 1st of May.
Awesome.
And on the 6th of May, His Excellency signed the new mining bill now to Mining Act 2016. So exciting times indeed. And before I go, there's 6 documents that we want to put together.
Yeah.
The Mining Act is just one of it. And we have coined a name within the ministry. We call it the 6-pack initiative. What we tend to do there is to come with 6 key documents that can now be used by investors, and by investors, I don't mean international investors. Even you, Abi, as a Kenyan who wants to invest, you have an opportunity to do that. Okay. What are these 6 documents? Number 1, we are preparing the mining 20-year strategy.
Yeah.
How do we move from where we are right now? And by the way,
to modernize the industry.
Exactly. By the way, Kenyans need to know that, and I want to say this to impress Kenyans to be part of this mining as we start this journey. Mining and quarrying is the second highest growth sector in Kenya. Did you know that?
Yeah.
At 14.7%. So and we want to continue with that momentum. Hopefully, we want to be the highest growth sector in the country. And if we can get a 20-year strategy, that show how we're moving. If we can, and we do have the policy now, and we have the act, we're preparing our regulations. Some of the regulations are so critical, Abi, that it says if you're an investor in some village in, say, Kakamega, you should also sign up a contract with the communities to ensure that you will also help in the development of that area. Build a school, bring water, bring electricity, do something that can help develop the sector as well. So regulations.
Yes.
And we're looking at the Kenya mining fiscal regime end to end. How much do we charge for royalty, taxes, and why? We want to be competitive and attractive as well, because we know we're competing with other people. But and anything we put there has to be well thought out. We don't want someone to go fly to another jurisdiction because of we're too expensive. So we need to look at that. Exactly. So fiscal regime, and we're having discussion with some consultants to see the best way to do that, because it can either attract investment or it can, get other people to go out. The final one is data. Credible data. And the Airborne Geophysical Survey, which I want Kenyans to know that we've been lobbying for 3 billion shillings to start phase 1 of the airborne survey, which essentially means fitting aircrafts with very powerful cameras and flying them through the country to look for potential areas for mineralization. So we don't do guesswork. We say if you're interested in iron ore or coal or gold, that's the place for you.
That's the place to
If you want rare earth, that's the place for you. That way, you come here ready to do what you need to do.
I mean,
Thank you.
The mining sector is the sector to watch, and we really appreciate you coming through.
Thank you very much.
This afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, we'll hopefully invite you once again. I know it's quite an extensive discussion, and we'll be hoping he'll grant us another opportunity to speak to him on what else is happening in the mining sector. He is quite optimistic that the mining industry is set to deliver more to the country in terms of GDP, currently contributing just about 1% of GDP. And now with the new mining law, he says this is the time